Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, dear student and viewers. Today we are going to be discuss step 7 field for data frequency distribution. As you know that nowadays we are working on the module 4 data analysis process. As you know that the research process for the basic and applied research step 6 scientific research design. Here you have seen the detail of scientific research design framework, detail of study, measurement and data analysis. Today we are going to be discuss field for data step 7 frequency distribution. As you know that and the frequency distribution is the part of data analysis process. Before that we have already discussed mean, standard deviation, correlation. Today we are going to be discuss a frequency distribution. Basically, frequency distribution is a simplifying and combine and organizing a data in construct in well form in and present a data in a tables and a graph is called a frequency distribution. Basically, a frequency distribution is a well combined, well tabulation and well organized form of data in table and in present. After that we present a data in a graph, and the many individuals are located in each category on the scales of measurement, and we, as you know that we have used different types of scale: nominal scale, ordinal scale, categorized and ratio scales. And after collecting a data, the researchers work on organize and combine the data and represent the data in frequency distribution tables and graph. That is basically called a frequency distributions. Here you have seen the frequency distributions tables. For example, if we take the values of x 139, 145, 150 and 136c and 152 and 144 and 138. And your right side you have seen the frequency 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. And the 139 height is reported in one frequency, repeated only one in the data, in the population and sample data, and 144 for 154 1. That is the examples of frequency distribution. It is a simple distribution. You can here send the regular frequency distribution table you have seen here. The frequency distribution table basically consists of at least two columns. One is called x column. Here is height is represent x, and other is frequency. The frequency is present here 1, 2, 1, 1 and 2 is basically f. In the x column, values are listed from the highest to the lowest without skipping any value in any column and tables. Types of frequency distributions. Basically, when a frequency distribution table lists all of the individual category x value, it is called a regular frequency distributions. And in the previous table that you have seen already, that was the examples of regular distributions. For here is we take the examples of regular distributions. Number of siblings in the families 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the total siblings number, and frequency is the 3, 7, 10, 3 is the here the total of the frequency. Again, the next is cumulative relative frequency and cumulative frequency. All types of frequency we have discussed in our upcoming slides. Group frequency distribution. Sometime, however, a set of scores covers a wide range of the values. In these situations, a list of all x values would be quite long to be a simple presentation of the data. To the remedy this situation, and the group frequency distribution table is used for representing the data and also be in the table. When we take the class interval between the x and f of the data of the x presentation of data, for example, we take the class limit 25 to 27, 22 to 24, 19 to 21, 16 to 18 and 13 to 15. And when we present that form of class interval based data in graph and table, that is called a group frequency distributions. Here is the example of group distribution. Example is called histogram. We can represent our data in histogram. That is also this graph is basically called a histogram diagram graph. Here you have seen also with the different examples of x and frequency 5 4 3 2 1. In the down you have also be a group distributions frequency. The first one is the frequency of the regular frequency graph, and down you have seen a group frequency graph. In the group frequency graph you have seen a class interval, and on the up image you have seen a regular frequency distribution, only one single value you have seen here. That types of graph is called a histogram graph. Here you can see a polygons graph, and both we take the examples of a regular distribution frequency polygon graphs and class intervals based polygons graph. Basically you have seen many times, sometime you have represent your data, you have seen your data in form of graph. This graph is like histogram, and sometime you have show your data in a polygons way of graphing. And the most important things you must be keep for the mostly for the young researcher, when the score categorize x values are measurement from the nominal and the ordinal scale, the graph should be a bar graph. For example, when you are collecting a data and you are arranging a data from you have taken from using a nominal scale and ordinal scale, then the graph should be in bar graph, not be in other graphs. So when your researchers have taken a data from nominal scales and the ordinal scale, that keep in mind for only, I suggest only for very important point, you should be present your graph only in the bar graph. And bar graph example you have seen here. Next is the relative frequency. The many populations are so large that it is possible to know the exact number of the individual frequency for any specific category. And sometimes the researcher have faced the populations, a complex population situations, and more population size, and they are very difficult to categorize individuals and represent the individual data, and that's in that case basically the researcher use a situation population distribution can be shown using a relative frequency instead of the absolute number of individuals for each categories. And you have categorized your individuals from the populations in different way, like that you have see is the examples for bluegill fish and bass. We take the different frequency for each species in from the population. Sometime relatively frequencies also be represented in form of smooth graph you have seen it, that is also be examples of relative frequency. And I hope you have got it all the point relevant to the frequency distributions. And frequency distribution is most important for also before understanding for the young researcher. Inshallah we will be met again in the next slide, the next steps. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.